Hey, this is Tim. If you are selling anything high ticket online, if you're a sales rep, you're selling a high ticket coaching service, maybe you are a coach or a consultant yourself, your words matter. Your words are one of the most important tools you have in your tool belt to get people on Zoom to make a purchasing decision for $5,000, $10,000 in 45 minutes to an hour. You know this because you're sitting on Zoom selling and you're trying to get people to buy. In this video, I'm going to talk about the tricks that you can use, not tricks, it's the wrong word probably, but some people would call it that. The verbal tools, the tricks that you can use to get people to buy because of the power of your words. So we're going to go into the power of words, specifically the power of congruency. Because I realized a long time ago, actually, before I even got into sales, I realized this when I was a dating coach, how important language is, how important words are. And even now, even more so now that I have been in sales and, I've sold millions of dollars at this point, right around $2.5 million over just the last 2 years in sales for various companies, for my own offer, as a coach, as a consultant. I'm realizing more and more that words, language is so important. And one of the things that I've realized, and this is what this video is going to help you with today, if you stick with me, I'll help you make a whole bunch of money actually using your words. The most important thing that sales reps miss, and why it's so hard for them to sell easily using their words, why their words don't have enough impact. And maybe you're dealing with this. Maybe you're a new sales rep or you've been selling for a while and you see like your commissions are limited, you're not making the kind of money you want to make, and it's a large part of it is due to your words not having impact. One of the biggest things is congruency, okay? Congruency means that your thoughts, your words, and your actions are aligned in such a way that when you speak, when you communicate, people are drawn to what you have to say and they want to listen to you, okay? The idea of congruency is a very funny one because you can say a whole bunch of things on a sales call. Let's say fitness, right? Let's say you're asking someone trying to handle their objections to get them to make change. They say, you're selling a fitness offer, and they say, I want to think about it, I want to take some time, all right? And you say, what's coming up for you? And then you try to give them a perspective on why they should be taking action now, and what is that person who's an action taker for their family, who gives the best version of themselves to their family, what do they do, right? You could say that all day and the scripting could be good, but if you don't have the conviction backing it, the scripting is going to fall flat on its head and you're not going to do anything with it, right? And people will hear you, and what the response you'll get is, maybe you've been getting this, is, oh, okay, yeah, I hear you, no, it's a good point, and then they'll move on because the conviction isn't there. But I can't tell you just have conviction and be convicted of this. That wouldn't be very helpful, now would it? What I need to do instead is tell you to be congruent, because congruency is where the conviction is going to come from. So what congruency means to me, yes, thoughts, words, and actions being aligned, but I'm not just going to tell you that. The way you become congruent, where when you say things, the way it manifests in congruency is where people can feel the conviction, people can feel the alignment, people can feel the authenticity, they can feel the realness radiating off of you when you speak and when you communicate to them, okay? That's what congruence feels like. That's what people feel when they know that you are being congruent, or that's what congruence feels like when you are operating from a state of congruence on your live sales calls. Now, how does one become congruent? Because that's the other hard part, right? How do you go from, hey, I'm just a sales rep following a script, to actually becoming congruent? One of the things that I do is I put my sales reps, the people that we train in our protocols training program, one of the exercises we do is we say, put yourself through a sales call. Putting yourself through a sales call means that you sit down and you actually run yourself through the scripting. So in our process that I teach, we have a couple pieces of scripting. We have, what are you looking for when it comes to, let's say, making money online? So instead of you just asking this to your clients, or you're asking this to your prospects that are coming through your sales calls as a closer or as a business owner, instead of that, what you do is you sit down for yourself and you ask yourself that question. What are you looking for when it comes to, so I put my closers through this, the people I train in protocols, I put them through this. What are you looking for when it comes to sales? Where do you want to be? And I have them identify a very strong holy grail. Another question that we ask in our process, well, I ask this to the people I talk to on sales calls, to prospects. Another question we ask is, when you achieve this goal, when you achieve XYZ, the holy grail, what is it going to do for you personally? What changes for you at that point versus now, right? There we go. There's another one. What do? I tell my sales reps, ask yourself this question and put yourself through this pacing. Why do I want them to do this? Because congruency comes from you being able to answer all of the questions that you ask to prospects, being able to answer them yourself, right? A sales rep who was asking all these questions and trying to create all these answers and all these responses is always going to struggle to get good answers if they're not prepared to have the answers to these things themselves, right? So when it comes to objections, like I'll give you guys an example on how I invest in myself, right? Things like think about it, take time. Whenever I'm going to invest in a coaching program, whenever I'm going to invest in something, the moment that I know that it's the thing that's going to get me to where I need to be, I'm very decisive on it, I take action on it, and I've invested just under $100,000. I'm talking six figures, more than what most people make in a year. I've invested that in my own training, working with people who have helped my life, mindset coaches, business coaches, masterminds, etc., right? And part of the reason why I'm able to do this, and the reason why I'm able to handle objections, all that stuff so easily, is because I am practicing what I preach in my day-to-day life, right? So it's not a gimmick. There was something interesting happen. Someone booked a call with us. They booked a demo call with us, and this guy I knew was coming in with a lot of fear. I already knew that he had was coming from a huge fear state, and he had booked a call with me, a demo. And he said, I watched the strategy call he had before he had gotten the demo with me, and he was like, I want to be a closer who helps people change their lives, and I want to make a bunch of money. I believe that I can make it in sales, et cetera, right? You know what's interesting? This guy, he no-showed his demo call with me. He didn't show up to the demo call. How is he, and he ghosted me. I messaged him over text. I was like, hey, brother, are you coming into the call? He no-showed, right? And we had to call him the calendar. That was a space he took in my calendar. My time is damn valuable. That guy, how in the world is he going to be able to set a standard with his prospects when he wants to handle an objection saying you should show up and be the version of you who commits to XYZ pathway, whether it's fitness, e-commerce, trading, whatever offer he would be closing on? How is that guy going to expect his prospects to do that when he doesn't have the courage or willingness within himself to even show up on a call when he knows it's going to challenge him? If he ended up, investing, it would challenge him financially. How is he able to do that? Doesn't make sense, right? There's an incongruency. So I guarantee you that guy, when he goes to sell, we're in traffic and people are starting to get real intense here. When he goes to sell, when he talks to his prospects on live calls, guaranteed for a fact he's going to struggle right now unless he works on the mindset. The reason is because there's an incongruency. So everything that I tell my prospects to do, everything that I expect out of them in terms of behavior, in terms of commitment, in terms of willingness, in terms of making change, etc., all of that I'm willing to and am doing myself. And that's the congruency, right? That's what allows me to show up on my sales calls and have an expectation for others. So I'll let you go. We're going to keep this one quick and short, but I want to just challenge you on something. A couple things here, a couple small things. Number one is the expectations and the bar that you set for your prospects, right? What kind of bar are you setting for yourself in your own life? You want people to spend money on your sales calls, but are you investing in yourself actually? Like straight up, what kind of objections are you giving yourself in your life? Because the very objections that you're giving yourself are going to be the objections you're going to get from your prospects. That's an absolute fact. It's 100%. Every single thing that you expect out of others, every single standard that you want to set from others is a standard that you need to hold within yourself. Every single bar that you set, every single expectation you have with other people, I want you to set that for yourself. Because if you're not, there's the incongruency in your words, there's going to be the incongruency in your behaviors, and your prospects will feel this from you. They'll feel it from you on a sales call. So when you're sitting there asking them questions like going deep into a consequence question, what does it look like when you don't make changes, but you haven't analyzed the consequences of your own actions if you don't make changes in your life, boom, there's the incongruency, and now you're making your calls way harder and people will not respect you, okay? I wanted to leave you with that. I thought it would be helpful for you to understand this idea of congruency. If you'd like me to help you, there's two ways that I can. I don't have anything to sell you here. We don't do any pitching on YouTube, like buy my course, none of that shit. What we do have is there was a call, it's a strategy call, 15 minutes. It's with someone on my team where we'll figure out if we can help you at all. And we'll point you in the right direction in terms of your sales career, your sales journey, or if you're a business owner, how to make more money on the offer that you're on, either with our help. We'll tell you about how that could work. It's not a sales call. We don't even pitch you on this. It's like 15 minutes. Or we'll point you in the direction of a lot of free resources that you can use that we have as well that can help you out. Either way, you don't lose anything by booking a strategy call. I'd recommend doing it. It's kind of a no-brainer. And the other way is you can join the newsletter where I put out value. I actually just wrote an email yesterday for the newsletter. The link is below, by the way, below the video. But I wrote an email yesterday about the new apartment that I moved into a couple months back, and how it's kind of inspiring me and helping me with my productivity. So that was a really cool email that I wrote. And I also have crazy trainings on sales, a lot of calls and insight and value that I have on that channel, like full sales calls, full sales trainings that I don't put on YouTube. It's in the newsletter. So go ahead and check that out. Everything is down below. Be blessed. Take care. I want you to go make a bunch of money and go change your life. I will see you on the next one. Peace.